Welcome to Black History Monday, the show that takes you on a journey through Black history to expose our contributions, as well as many racial massacres hidden from history. So sit back, free your mind, and follow me on this journey. Eartha Kitt. Many of you probably remember Eartha Kitt as Catwoman on Batman with Adam West. She was known for her sultry vocal style and slinky beauty. Eartha Kitt was once described as the most exciting woman on earth who seduced Santa with her words in her Santa Baby hit, the sexiest Christmas song of all time. Eartha Kitt began her career in 1942 and had 6 U.S. top 30 hits during her career. 2 of her hits were Usaka Dara and I Wanna Be Evil, which were released in the early 50s. She's also well known for playing the character of Catwoman in the 1960s TV show Batman, as I said before. In 1968, Eartha Kitt was invited to the White House luncheon, which was hosted by First Lady Claudia Alta Johnson, affectionately known as Lady Bird. Her career suffered greatly after she made criticizing comments about the Vietnam War during the luncheon. She had received the invitation due to her celebrity status and charity work. The guest list consisted of approximately 50 white and Negro women from affluent backgrounds. They were asked to come up with ideas about how to deal with youth crime and inner-city violence. President Johnson was only there for a brief moment, and then he left. Lady Bird took the podium, then opened the mic up for remarks. When it was time for Eartha Kitt to speak, she declared angrily that the Vietnam War was causing American youth to rebel in the cities. She continued and said, "You send the best of this country off to be shot and maimed. They rebel in the street. They will take pot and they will get high. They don't want to go to school because they're going to be snatched off from their mothers to be shot in Vietnam." Lady Bird sounded as though she was crying and said, "Because there is a war on, and I pray that there will be a just and honest peace, that still doesn't give us a free ticket not to try to work for better things such as against crime in the streets, better education, and better health for our people." Eartha Kitt ended with, "Mrs. Johnson, we raise children and send them to war." Her words stunned everyone at the luncheon. She was an outspoken individual, but she had done this at a time when African American people rarely did such things.
Lady Bird was talking about planting trees along streets, like they say, the ladies who lunch.
It's a nice, respectable lunch, and everyone sort of making polite points, and suddenly Eartha stands up.
She turned to Lady Bird and she just said, "You're a mother, so what are we going to do about sending these black kids overseas to get shot?"
Huh? What about them?
There was this unbelievable silence, and then a bunch of people started freaking out.
Now you're dealing with 2 Southern people. You're Southerners. They're allowing you, a black person, to sit at their tables.
When she arrived back at her hotel, she was astonished to discover that this incident was being spoken about already on the radio.
Suddenly, the discussion was interrupted by a fiery charge from singer Eartha Kitt.
And that she was getting death threats.
The ghettos stemmed from the war in Vietnam.
Backlash is an understatement. It was an all-out assault against her. Johnson called the FBI as well as the CIA and demanded that they find something on this woman.
Shortly after this, her career suffered greatly. Nightclub owners and producers she had been under contract with canceled her shows. Rodri Jeffries Jones in Peace Now wrote, "Overnight, Kitt became a bad mother, a fornicator, a user of profane language, an improper person with offensive opinions. New York Times political reporter Seymour Hersh said in an article that the CIA's report gathered second-hand gossip about the entertainer. The agency did not find anything related to foreign intelligence connections. However, it concluded after interviewing former colleagues in the U.S. and Paris that Kitt had a very nasty disposition. She was also described as a sadistic nymphomaniac.
Well, I wasn't working as permanently as I used to in America because of the incident with President Johnson, because I was against our involvement in Vietnam.
Right.
And as a request of theirs, going to the White House and giving my opinions at their request, I was thrown out of work in the United States.
That was 1968, right? You went to a luncheon and,
Yes.
and pretty much stood up and read the President the Riot Act about...
Because I was asked to.
Right.
I was not there to sing songs. So on my dossier, my CIA dossier, that says...
Oh, you have one?
It says I'm a sadistic sex nymphomaniac, darling. I think I missed a page there somewhere, but anyway. And
Would you want to frame something like that? I mean, that's...
As a matter of fact, I was going through my things in my desk just yesterday, and I came across the letter that Jack Anderson wrote me. It said, "These are your files that we found in the CIA dossier." This is only a smidgen of it. And I'm framing everything that I was given
You know what the hell
that had to do with the CIA.
They framed you.
But
You
it
might
sure
as
in
well
hell
frame them
did.
back.
And as a result, on the bottom of the CIA dossier, it says, specifically requested by Lady Bird and President Johnson, deface me in the United States so that I would be not seen, and therefore I'm out of work.
She had to perform in Europe due to being blacklisted, but successfully returned to Broadway in 1978 in the musical Timbuktu. She received her first Tony Award nomination for her performance. She found out the CIA had been investigating her since 1968 for her talk at the White House luncheon. She said, "For years I went along with the idea that entertainers should not get involved with politics. Today, I realize that because of our contact with the public, we have to speak out, to make those who are responsible more aware of what is happening where they perhaps cannot see, particularly someone like myself who has lived a life of poverty. I don't regret anything that I've said or done. I have suffered a lot financially, but I have survived. I only have pity and sympathy for those who tucked their moral tails in between their legs and cuddled up to the Johnson and Nixon administration's immoral and unjust policies." It would appear that our entertainers and celebrities and sports figures are still going through the exact same thing that Eartha Kitt had to go through. Next week, Monday, we will continue on this journey as we walk through the doors of history. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Click the notification bell so you'll be notified when we upload new videos. Find The Awakening Frequency on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. Research is key. Always do your own research and never just listen to what people tell you. We are The Awakening Frequency. Out of the millions of potential subscribers, we just want to reach one so each one can teach one. Peace.